To this point, we've already created a huge information set at a strategic level. We've looked at the building and analysed it. We've looked at the performance and understood it. We've looked at the data around usage, and more importantly, we've got evidence that can support decision making. We've looked at the sharing ratios that could be deployed, and we've looked at the utilisation that has become available. And we've even done high-level test fit plans so that we can just crunch the numbers to ensure that our assumptions are working. Our client team has looked at a shortlist and have made a decision and has gone to its leadership team to get approvals. Those approvals have come in and we have a strategic plan, and it means we can now move to the test fit stage and make sure that our space plans are tight and make sure that we can actually accommodate all of the requirements that the client's customers have, and that the client is comfortable that they can deliver on what those customers need. We work really fast on the space planning. We make sure that we cover all aspects of the plan. We're not necessarily going to produce statement designs because we know the client doesn't always have the budget or the timetable doesn't allow it. So we try and find that middle ground, that sweet spot where the client is happy that there is a transformation, the customers can see a development that's going to be quick, and more importantly, it's within a good budget and we're moving everybody in a forward direction. We're also thinking and taking into account our suppliers, the supply chain. We know that their resources are not going to be vast either. So we want to make sure that when they're working with us, they really trust the details that we're producing, and they're trusting the validity of the planning assumptions that we're making. We're connecting with all of the elements within the building to ensure that infrastructure-wise, we're not producing things which they're not going to believe in. If everybody can see how it can work, we're going to get the support. And that's the kind of general flavour that we work with. It's really simple, really. Once we've got the space plans, we've got the test fits, we know what can work, we've got all the allocations, we can go to the business unit heads, we can talk to them. We can then ask them some very straightforward questions. Are you content with this plan? Are you content that we have understood your requirements and these plans reflect those requirements? We're generally confident that the answer is yes. And where the answer is no, we know we've got to go and work a bit harder and help them understand the reason why they have to go with what we've got, or we can adapt accordingly. There's loads of processes we can put in place that help the customer feel that they're heard and that their views are understood, and there are always going to be escalation routes to support this process. It's part of what we do. Once we've got the sign-off, and there could be multiple numbers of sign-offs depending on the number of business unit heads we have to deal with and their key contacts that we have to deal with. It could run into hundreds of people. But over time, we get through it and we get to a point in the project where we can freeze the discussion, the consultation, and we can then work towards control and implementation through the project delivery. This is a really important milestone. All of our documentation is coordinated, it's version controlled, there's an audit trail, and more importantly, there's a package of information that we hand over to the implementation team so they can crack on and deliver that project on time. So a lot of work that needs to take place in this phase. It's a red hot area of work, but once it's done, there's a lot of personal satisfaction for all parties. it's one of those areas of work that we really pride ourselves in. It's a really satisfactory situation.